Welcome, Lynn Taylor, and thank you for taking part in the Embassy of Switzerland's series on innovating in times of crisis. You are the Senior Vice President and Head of Global Healthcare, Government and Public Affairs at EMD Serono. I'm the Ambassador of Switzerland to the United States of America. Let's talk about the challenging times that we have been through, and actually we're still through in the challenging times, and how these times may have propelled innovation for your industry. For the general context, EMD Serono transforms lives by developing and delivering meaningful therapies. And tell me about this biopharmaceutical industry, both in Switzerland and in the US.
Well, thank you, Ambassador Pitteloud. It's a real pleasure to be with you today and talk about my company, the crisis, and innovation. Because really, we are a science and technology company, and innovation is at the heart of everything we do. So I work for Merck KGaA Darmstadt, Germany, which operates in the United States under EMD Serono, Millipore Sigma, and EMD Performance Materials. Globally, we have three business sectors: healthcare, life science, and performance materials. In healthcare, we discover unique ways to treat the most challenging diseases like cancer and multiple sclerosis. Our life science experts empower scientists by developing tools and solutions that help them deliver breakthroughs more quickly, which we need right now. And in performance materials, we develop the science that is found inside technologies and changes the way we access and display information. We have 57,000 people across 66 countries dedicated to serving our patients and scientists and customers. And proudly, our company has been in Switzerland since 1929, and we have a strong and growing presence in the country. Most notably, we just invested in January in a new Merck Biotech Development Center in Vevey, where we have a hub for manufacturing and developing biotech medicines. And in the United States, we have 13,000 employees across 70 sites, from research, development, manufacturing, and distribution. And I would say our natural connection here, our presence in Switzerland is long and strong. I've had a natural partnership with the embassy here in Washington, D.C., and this relationship continues to be incredibly important for us. And so I would also say, importantly, we do admire the Swiss Federation through the Federal Council and all departments that you have taken in managing and helping companies like ours through the crisis. Securing access to raw materials, maintaining supply chains, and free movement of people have been critical. So I'd like to thank you so much for that incredible support and leadership.
Thank you so much. Indeed, you are active in protection, prevention, treatment. So you have this focus on healthcare, life science, performance materials. So you're one of the key players in the global effort that we are going through now against the pandemic. Now, you mentioned the supply chain problems that you might have been faced with, like everyone else. In fact, we could feel already before the pandemic that there was a wave of, let's say, economic nationalism, that the traditional trade relationship, that the free markets economy and the international free markets are being increasingly put into question. Did you face serious challenges now during the last 7-8 months?
I can say indeed, the pandemic has put in front of us many challenges, not just in our supply chain, but in taking care of our people, in all facets of our business. What I can say first is, while we don't directly manufacture antivirals or vaccines or diagnostics used to treat COVID, we actually are very, very active in a number of ways in supporting the crisis and how our company has indeed changed the way we're doing business. So we, for example, are one of 15 companies that have agreed to share our proprietary libraries of molecular compounds that have already have some safety and activity data with COVID-19 Therapeutics Accelerator that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation launched. We have donated our interferon beta 1A to the WHO for the use in its Solidarity trial, to the US NIH for the Act 3 trial, and to the French INSERM for the International Discovery Trial. And so we've been very active around a number of ways and aspects of our operations. So it's really critical for us that we can keep our operations running, our sites are safe, ensure business continuity, and support public health. And so indeed, we are active in a number of ways. It has changed the way we do business in some ways, but otherwise we stay the course, bringing our people to our facilities as safe and possible to supply our customers and our patients.
Now that we seem to be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, at least we hope, and we hope that this madness will be over in the next few months, there are, though, very worrying signs that even when we go back to what used to be normal before, the disruption in the supply chains are here to remain, and let's say the political challenges posed by economic nationalism, reshoring, operating closer to home, all these things are here to stay. And mind you, even whatever the results of the November 3rd election in the US, we can feel this is coming. Have you already taken measures to try and deal with these possible disruptions?
Yeah, from a supply chain perspective, we are strong believers in a resilient, diverse, and global supply chain. That is the way we have been able to manage before the crisis and now through the pandemic. And so we have research, development, manufacturing, and distribution of our products around the world. And so we will continue to focus and have a diversified approach in the geographies where we need to have our presence in order to supply our customers. We have patients and customers around the world. And so our supply chain also, in order to be resilient, needs to be diversified. And so we are managing the supply chain very, very carefully. We have been bringing on additional suppliers in some cases, where we need additional output in order to support companies that are making vaccines and diagnostics and therapeutics for COVID-19. And our company will continue to operate as a multinational, as a German company, significant presence in the US, significant presence in Switzerland. And we will manage our supply chain and our workforce in this exceptional time in new ways, but with a continued commitment to safety, efficacy, and excellence for our customers and products.
There is another major challenge coming our way, and this is again something that's not going away once this pandemic will be over, and that's the worldwide discussion about international property rights and the way certain countries are considered not to play by the rules, and how we might very well see in the near future measures to limit the sale or the sale of intellectual property to certain countries. It's going to be a major challenge for multinational companies because you are operating on all continents, you're operating everywhere, your scientists are everywhere. Have you also thought about how to mitigate the effects of something that's most certainly coming to hit us in the next 2 years?
Yeah, so intellectual property rights are the foundation of what we do. As a vibrant science and technology company, intellectual property is critical to supporting our ability to invest in and develop new technology and medicines and bring them to our patients and customers. We have in some markets, like in the continent of Africa, where local conditions require, we have, for example, not enforced some of our patent rights. However, we must have a strong and vibrant intellectual property system and enforcement in order for us to continue to operate and bring products and medicines to patients. And so I indeed see challenges coming. We may see compulsory licensing of some products, and that is not something that we can support. We also, on one hand, are very supportive of enabling all markets around the world to build up capacity to manufacture important medicines, for sure, and particularly in our life science business. We enable this, let's say, democratization of manufacturing so that they can do so. So that's very important. However, as a company that is focused in science and technology, we can't just stand by and allow our intellectual property rights to be violated around the world. So we will work locally in every market as we need to supply what's needed.
I see. Yeah, because I'm really personally convinced that we are going to face fairly challenging times in terms of the way intellectual property is dealt with internationally, and we might even see, and that is something that of course to countries, exporting countries like Germany and Switzerland, is a serious challenge. Are the export restrictions
Yeah.
uh, of advanced technologies, for fear, of course, of being, of the intellectual property not being respected, and so I'm very glad to see, and I'm not surprised to see that a company like Serono, of course, has already been taking the measure of the challenge ahead. Are there other long-term or mid-term implications of lessons that you might have learned from the COVID crisis?
Yeah, so many lessons, and as you said earlier, we are still learning. I think we've come out of a peak in the pandemic, but we've learned both from business operations as well as managing our workforce. One thing that I'm incredibly proud about our company is that we, from the very beginning, have put the health, well-being, and safety of our workforce as the number one priority. We have seen increase in, I would say, collaboration across boundaries, not only in our company, but with external partners as well. The focus for the future will continue to be, from a leadership perspective, showing both empathy and compassion, being vulnerable yet strong, providing clear direction and a path forward, and adapting, being flexible and agile in order to drive both internal and external collaborations and productivity, and also making some tough decisions as we need to. So continued working with our workforce, certainly from our physical capital structures. We have very stringent and regimented cleaning and sanitizing protocols, right? This is going to continue. Additional use of personal protective equipment, testing capabilities. And so we're trying to, continue on, but in this new paradigm. We have to lead in a different way. We have to manage and work with our workforce in a different way. We have to manage our physical plants in a new way. And most importantly, as a multinational with presence in 66 countries, we have to enable local decision making. It can't be sort of a top-down mandate. We put together an amazing COVID response and crisis team globally, and then have supported and enabled our teams locally to pivot in this time.
Yeah, being a German and Swiss company, of course, you are strong believers in federalism, and so are we. So thank you for ending on this positive note. And Lynn Taylor, thank you for all the work Serono has been doing, both to improve health and also to enrich the economies of all the countries involved. This is an example of how multinational companies actually are beneficial to all the countries where they operate. So thank you so much, and I wish you a very, very nice evening, I guess, in Vevey.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador. This has been a pleasure, and I would end on a very strong note, which is one: our company is over 350 years old, and so resilience is in our core, and we will continue with this strong foundation and history of being a resilient company to continue forward. Science is at the absolute heart of everything we do. It drives our discoveries and the technologies we make. And we have a strong mindset and legacy and experience in collaborations, whether it be countries, businesses, nonprofits, or other organizations. So we're committed to doing our part. We're committed to this partnership with Switzerland and our business in Switzerland, and of course with you and the embassy. And I want to thank you so much for this opportunity today.
Thank you so much. Good luck and stay safe.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.